Now we're going to do a quick discussion of the equations of horizontal and vertical lines. All right, so equations of horizontal and vertical lines. So let's start off by graphing y equals 4. All right? So if we want to graph y equals 4, there's a couple of strategies to do this. Probably the most effective strategy, and don't worry, this isn't like an order of importance or anything, so it could be strategy 1, strategy 2, just the strategy I feel like talking about it right now. The first strategy that I'm going to talk about is to make a table. All right, so we're going to make a table, and we're going to start off by saying, well, this is y equals 4. So that must mean if I'm making a table, that any element of y has to be 4. So that means x can be -2 or 0 or 3. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter because y equals 4. The reason I know that is because that's what my equation says. The equation says y equals 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to graph the points. -2, 4, 0, 4, and 3, 4. So -2, oops, that's not what I meant. Alright, so I've got -2, 4, 0, 4, and 3, 4. And draw my line. And what kind of line do I have here? I have a horizontal line. Do you remember what kind of slope this line has? This is a 0 slope. We did that earlier in this section. 0 slope of a horizontal line. Anytime you have a y equals whatever, it's always going to be a horizontal line with 0 slope going through the point y equals 4. Okay, so that's one way to keep it straight. Another strategy that some people use is they'll go in here and they'll say, well, I'm going to try to get this in the form y equals mx plus b. Now remember, I originally had y equals 4. So if I'm trying to get it to match, what I need to do is say, well, what would m be to make this true? The answer is 0. Since my original equation is just y equals 4, then the only way to make that match is to say y equals 0 times x plus 4. That makes your slope equals a 0, and your y-intercept, which is b, being equal to 4. So again, what you'll have is a y-intercept of 0, 4, and a slope of 0. All right, so that's another way to think about it. There is a third strategy exclusive to Dr. Andrews' college algebra students, and that is this. Because I have girly y's, I think about this. The fact that my y here kind of looks like an upside down H, and H stands for horizontal. Yeah, that's about as good as I got. So anytime you see y equals whatever, y is always going to the horizontal line. It doesn't really work if you have like a manly y, because then you're like, oh, horizontal? It doesn't work. It only works if you have a girly y. So I hope you have a girly y. Yay! That was fun. Let's do another one. Let's try something similar but different. Let's try to graph x equals -3. Okay? So we're going to only use that first strategy that we did last time. That's the only one we're going to use. Let's say we've got x and y. So what do all of our x values have to be for this one? What do all of our x values have to be for this one? What is x equal to here? x is equal to negative 3. So that means no matter what y is, x has to be negative 3. So y could be 5, y could be 0, y could be 4. It doesn't matter what y is, because x has to be absolutely in every way imaginable, has to be negative 3. So if we go in here and graph these points, we're going to be graphing negative 3, negative 5, negative 3, 0, negative 3, negative 4. So negative 3, negative 5, 0, 4. And if you draw the line, wait, I'm silly. I got excited. Sorry, this is what happens when you do math. You get excited about things. All right, negative 3, negative 5. Try this again. Negative 3, 0. I can do math. And negative 3, 4. And now I'm going to graph it. And I get, well, if I graphed it prettier, what would I get? What kind of a line is this again? Do you remember? This is a vertical line. And what kind of slope does it have? What do we call it? The slope is undefined. All right. So basically, oh my gosh, you've got to forgive me. I'm just totally dorking this up. You're like, I thought she was crazy. Yep, I was. This should have only gone out to 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now you think I'm not crazy, so I'm out here at 0, negative 3. And now my graph is perfect. So 0, negative 3. So anytime you have an x equals, you've got a vertical line going through that point on x. So let's summarize this without any mistakes. See, this is why you have to pay attention. If I have y equals whatever, that's a horizontal line, and its slope of 0. If I have x equals blah, 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 that means I have a vertical line, and my slope is undefined. Got it? Yay!